But not only does it begin as part of an Independence Day weekend, but July itself marks the halfway point of 2025. Yikes. Now, I'm sure that those of you who were here in January remember what our affirmation for this year is, right? Right? Okay. Yeah, that's it. Well, we started this year by saying, amen. Yes. We started this year by saying we are ready to thrive in 2025. Remember that? All right. And if thriving is what you've been doing these past 6 months, good for you, whether you remembered our affirmation or never heard of it before. Because thriving is natural to us. We're here in this human environment to flourish and prosper and expand. Abraham Hicks tells us the basis of your life is freedom. The purpose of your life is joy. The result of your life is expansion. There is no way for us to thrive in life if we're not feeling joy in living our life. And since the basis of our life is freedom, then we are always free to feel that joy and experience that joy and live our purpose of joy every moment. And so, it's absolutely perfect that this halfway through the year month begins with a celebration of independence and freedom. Because our awareness of our true independence and freedom is the energy and high vibration that's necessary for us to flourish and to prosper and to expand. Now, if you've been ready all this first half of the year to thrive, but it seems like the thriving hasn't started yet, no worries. Because we're going to talk all this month on what you can do to get the party started. Just because thriving hasn't been a trend in our life so far this year, and the first half feels more like 6 months of effort and preparation rather than 6 months of celebration, it doesn't mean that we only have 50% chance of making the year better or the best year yet, even if our math is bad. Because our chances of making our life better and better are 100% every moment. As our opening affirmative statement for July states, we have been created with absolute, inalienable freedom, which is to say, our freedom isn't transferable to anyone else and can't be taken away or denied by anyone else. The late psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, Viktor Frankl, wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. If we didn't have the freedom to choose how we will experience our life, if something outside of us could take away our freedom to live as we're created to be, then we would be puppets in the hand of fate and victims of circumstances and vulnerable to a world that appears to have power. But that can't happen. Because between a stimulus, positive or negative, that we feel within us to anything, no matter what it is around us, there is a space where the power of the pure, positive source energy of our life exists unaltered, untouched, and unchanged by anything that happens in this world. I knew you meant amen. We are one, even now, with that power that has no opposition to prevent it from creating whatever it chooses to create. In that space is our power to choose our response to anything in life. And in our response lies our growth, choosing something better. And our expansion, our awareness that we are more than we chose before. But in our response, depending on what it is, also lies our contraction and our bondage. Because we are so free that we can choose to live unfree and not use our power to choose the love and peace and joy that causes us to thrive, that causes us to feel our freedom, that causes us to live as we're created to live. We are free to allow whatever happens in this world, whatever is happening in this world, to have its way with us. And to live as if our power of choice to live as we're created to live has been taken away from us. We're all made of the right stuff. It's how we use it that makes a difference in how we experience life. In the Way of Transformation, we read, "So many in your world seek to find a spirituality that will free them of the world of their experience, never even realizing that that very attitude is the thing that chains them and imprisons them in their hell." Spirituality is merely a process of seeing things differently. And that is an active decision, born of desire coupled with the little willingness, called allowance, to recognize that each moment is like a jewel presented on a golden plate to you, God's child. You are the one who has the freedom always and literally creates or makes your experience. When we took on this incarnation, this human form that we all came in with one, and we've kept it ever since. We brought with us everything necessary to the fulfillment of the spiritual idea called our life. We brought our individual spiritual freedom to choose to see the world differently than it appears to be. And that choice allows us to know our freedom. We brought with us the ability to know the world is more than the obvious and apparent in any moment. Our power of choice was intended and continues to be the intention that expands us and the whole universe. We've never lost our spiritual independence from worldly interference of any kind. Our spiritual independence is ours now and forever. Why would we choose to use our power of choice to live in hell when we're free to live in heaven? All right. We are free to decide what we'll focus on and what we'll give our attention and energy to. Our better and better doesn't depend on the happenings of the world. As we said last Sunday, only the world giveth and taketh away. Thank God. Our better and better doesn't depend on the economy, the government, on another person, or situation, or condition, or anything else outside of us. The better and better that is ours and comes to stay, the better and better that can't be taken away even for a moment, is always within us, there to choose. Our inner being forever holds the truth of us. It holds our power intact. And it can't be fooled by appearances. It can't be bullied by false power or confused by words. And even when we feel fooled and feel bullied or confused, and we choose to focus on what we don't want, our inner being isn't focused there, because our inner being is in that space where our power lies. It's in that space between whatever that stimulus is or was and our response to it. And our inner being knows what we want. And it focuses on the vibration of creation that brings it about. And when we allow it to, it brings it to us. Our every desire for ourselves and the world that we see would come into perfect manifestation, like a jewel presented on a golden plate to us. If we offered the little willingness called allowance that would bring it about. When we're not resisting the better and better that comes from the source of creation within us, by insisting that something around us in the world needs to change first, when we're not focused on what we don't like and what we don't want, when we're not thinking about it and talking about it and fighting against something we believe has the power to keep what we want away, we're choosing instead to make the active decision to use our spirituality to see things differently. When we use our spirituality for that purpose, we're more aware of life as it's created to be. We're more aware of ourselves and others as they're created to be. And we feel the freedom, no matter where we are, to live that truth. Abraham Hicks tells us, you are blessed, pure, positive energy beings on the ride of your life, intending to experience the expansion of the universe and to ride that rocket of desire like the source within you does. We're here to live the inner in the outer, to feel it, to enjoy it, to be it. Which brings us to the title of our talk this morning. Well, it's my talk, but I'm going to offer it to you. Ride your rockets of desire. When we know what we don't want, we know what we do want. Otherwise, what we don't want wouldn't bother us. We wouldn't feel the discord within us. But the discord that we feel is the vibrational difference between what our inner being knows we want and holds for us and where we're focused. Abraham Hicks tells us that every time we know what we want, we send a rocket of desire into the vibration of creation that creates it, whatever it is. Our mind is like a rocket launcher, and our thoughts of what we truly want cause us to emit an explosion of positive energy, like fireworks, into the vibration of creation. We must be beautiful on the inside to be doing that. And that rocket, that vibration that goes into the vibration of creation is acted upon. Our lives expand and we expand and the whole universe expands. That's why we're here, for the joy of it, for the joy of all of it. So why does it seem that we don't feel the fireworks of joy or experience the expansion of creation in our life? Our continued focus on the unwanted keeps us grounded. Rather than flying high in positivity. It keeps us living in the low vibration where what we don't want is showing up and what we do want isn't. If we don't ride along with our rockets of desire, if we don't get on board with what we want and focus there on our desires, on what we want until they manifest, we won't rise in the vibration of their creation. That's already there. It's already there. Everything we want, that's a good thing, is already there. This Independence Day, Ernest Holmes suggests, it would be a wonderful experiment for anyone to begin to live as if their life were a limitless power attending him on his journey through life. And I'll just read that again because I think I may have screwed it up. Listen carefully because I'm only reading it twice. It would be a wonderful experiment for anyone to begin to live as if there were a limitless power attending him on his journey through life. Yeah. Thank you. To talk and think and act as though his every act were directed and guided into expressions of peace, health, happiness, and harmony. This is the perfect time, this Independence Day weekend, for us to begin living more often as if there were a limitless power attending to our journey through life. To talk and think and act more often, as if our every act were directed and guided by our inner being into expressions of peace and health and happiness and harmony. Our inner being has everything necessary to the fulfillment of the spiritual idea called our life. And with that little willingness, just that little willingness called allowance, we can fulfill the idea of our life in form and expression on earth. We have the individual spiritual freedom to choose to see the world differently, as we want to see it, as we want to be in it. We've never lost our spiritual independence from worldly interference of any kind. We are blessed. We are pure, positive energy beings. And we're on the ride of our life, intending to experience the expansion of the universe through us, through our own expansion. To ride the rockets of our desires like the source within us, our inner being rides them every time we have one. True independence and freedom doesn't come from the world. It can't come from the world. It arises in us. And it's ours now and forever. It's up to us to choose to use our power of choice to experience the good that's ours every moment, handed to us every moment, if we want the ride of our life. Namaste.